This No Jumper interview was the most awkward interview I've ever watched on No Jumper. Now, it started off awkward because nobody knew it was an interview but Wack and the guests. So Adam and Wack has a weekly show that they do called the Adam and Wack Show. Now, it's a podcast. They really don't do guest or interviews, but Wack 100 brought on a local rapper called Zoe Osama. Now, from the very jump, Adam let Wack 100 know that he don't believe it's cool that Wack 100 would keep on bringing unannounced guests and catching Adam off guard. And a whole argument would brew about how Wack thought he told Adam, and Adam was saying, no, Wack didn't tell him.
I just want to say this too. Could we get some kind of heads up when you're planning on having a guest? Because A, I did not have any kind of time to prepare for him being on the podcast today because he didn't tell anybody. B, he shows up at the office and the security and everybody's tripping. They're hitting the group chat. Is Zoe Osama supposed to be here or whatever? Because it's like we have a very specific list of who's,
so you telling me you didn't know he was coming?
No, you didn't tell anyone.
Are you for real right now?
Who did you tell?
It's on our text blast, me, you, and Laura.
No, it is not. You want
Are you fucking
I'm going to search
slow in your head?
Osama in my phone, and I'm going to skip all the time that I was talking about Osama bin Laden.
Hold on, bro.
Osama. Look at this.
Hold on.
I want to bring Zoe Osama up. That was like 3 weeks ago.
What you mean?
I mean, 3 weeks ago, suggesting that you might do it is way different than saying, hey, he's on the schedule today.
We were supposed to do it last week.
Right, but wouldn't it be cool for you to like tell us before somebody comes? Because the security's tripping. They're like, who the is this random guy showing up? They didn't know.
I get what Adam is saying, like, bro, it'll probably be best for the show's longevity and quality of the content if I knew who was coming on before so I can be prepared. But I feel like Adam should have probably waited until the podcast is over or until Zoe Osama wasn't there to tell Wag. Because Zoe Osama from the very get-go was really annoyed, as you guys can see right here. But from the very jump, it became really apparent that this was not a good fit. You see, there's this running joke in LA that, No Jumper or Adam specifically likes to sex play people. And when gang members say sex play, they're just referring to, straight dudes or, non-street dudes making gay jokes, right? And it became really clear that Zoe Osama was not going to go for the sex playing or the gay jokes about like 5 minutes into the podcast when this happened.
Professional.
Yeah, professional.
White women.
And really.
With cameras.
Really, Adam.
They make us feel safe.
White women do?
Yeah. Really,
I like to hear that. A lot of our queens get a lot of dirt thrown on their names these days.
No, just white people in general. You don't worry about
so you with men as well.
No, but
no, that's out.
Well, not like that, but white men.
There you go.
What?
See?
I'm not saying. Okay. Don't make it gay.
Yo, so
that was crazy.
Adam, please don't do that. I'm obligated.
I was happy to know that these white boys.
I'm obligated,
Hey,
Adam.
Gabe, we're not doing that.
Not like that. Again, not like that.
Hey, man. What the is going on?
This is what he does on the podcast.
Adam,
he tries to
don't
get
do
you
it.
in a
I'm
trick
obligated.
bag.
Another awkward exchange that happened pretty soon after this moment that I didn't quite understand why it was happening on the podcast at this particular moment was when Wack 100 brought up the fact that G-Face texted him and let him know that Adam was talking about him behind his back, which Adam denies. But they brought it up in front of Zoe Osama, and it sort of isolated Zoe Osama. As you would see, as the conversation went on, Zoe Osama would like shake his head and just get on his phone, completely isolated and disengaged from the conversation.
Did some punk shit. You been a culture vulture.
Let's hit it.
What's the dude with the beard you keep wanting me to interview, to talk to? The big dude. G or some shit?
G-Face.
G-Face.
That's a good idea.
You want to tell me something? Because motherfuckers, I looked out for you. They ready to line you, Adam.
Who?
You.
Who?
G-Face hit me.
The other part of the conversation, they want to line you up. Who's they?
G-Face got a problem with you.
No, he doesn't. He talks to me all the time.
Did you not hit G-Face and tell him Wack 100 is talking about you? You may want to come up and let's talk about it. He said, Wack, Adam brought me up. Yeah, you doing punk shit. I'm going to show you what he said.
But you have a history of lying about people that are mad at me, and then I talk to them, and then they're like, I never said any of that.
He sent it to me, bro. I'm going to show it to you. I'm not going to play with you. He sent it to me saying this nigga Adam trying to start fires. Then he sent me what you text him.
What did I text?
How would I know what you texted?
So he sent you a screenshot of something I said? Let me see.
Punk motherfucker, read it since you want to make.
Wack was going off on you last week. You definitely gonna want to respond. He said,
punk shit.
Where? You still talk to him? I thought he doesn't do shit with you anymore. I said, no, we have a show together. What
Did
is
you
the
tell
thing?
me any of that?
What is inappropriate about that?
Because the fact that you telling him that, you didn't tell me none of that. See, when we leave here, we still in the streets, white guy.
So
Stop
again,
playing.
I
Give me my
said
phone, bro.
Wack was going off
Give
on
me
you
my
last
phone. You get
week.
some
You're
punk
definitely
shit.
gonna.
I don't know. I just feel like the best way to get your guests to open up is probably not letting your guests know that you don't trust your co-host. Because that tells the guest that now he can't trust your co-host, and now the guest is closed off. He's not really saying much. He's not really vulnerable. He's tight-lipped, and he's on the edge when it comes to your co-host and any questions your co-host asks, because you don't trust your own co-host. So why should a guest trust him as well? Now, mid-conversation, Adam would also make a plea to the audience to let them know that he did nothing wrong and that Wack is blowing this out of proportion. And I believe Adam did that specifically because he understands the unfair narrative surrounding his name, and he believes this conversation could sort of push or spread that narrative that he's unloyal or disloyal or he does snake stuff.
People at home, there's a reason why he's not answering this question.
The power rule, you're not understanding the power rule language.
Why are you not answering the question? It's like you're trying to evade the fact that the question has a simple answer.
I'm lost.
Okay, listen.
There's nothing wrong.
Brings the dude
There's nothing wrong with me telling people that you were talking about them on the podcast before it comes out.
He brings them up. I respond. He bring it up. I respond.
You went on a crazy rant about him.
Wack was talking about you, but he don't tell me shit.
What do I have to tell you? So I have to tell you, hey, I'm going to warn G-Face that you were talking about him?
Yeah, I would appreciate that. I'm going to tell you why.
But you talked about it on the podcast.
No, but
the effects of this conversation of Wack calling Adam unloyal or disloyal in front of the guest will come into play a little later in the podcast when Adam would make a metaphor about drug dealing, about taking something straight off the boat and taking it directly to the customer opposed to going through a middleman. Now, because Zoe Sama has already been implanted that he can't really trust Adam and he got to watch Adam closely, Zoe Sama will take that metaphor as a racial innuendo.
See, what I do is send it straight to the people they're sending it to, and I get the real rate. This is what Wack 100 is here for when it comes to the culture of our people.
Straight off the boat.
I'll allow my people to utilize my
straight
resources.
off the boat?
What boat?
What's a metaphor?
The mean way.
What kind of metaphor was that?
It's like
He asked the question.
you're saying you skip the middleman, like a drug thing.
No, but what's straight off the boat?
You know, that's nothing you should say to a black man.
This is really something. Yeah, look at that little wink guy.
At this point, Zoe Sama is just a bystander to the Adam and Wack show, and he will only chime in or do an outburst if Adam says something sus or mentions penises. And that will lead into a real tense exchange between Adam and Zoe Sama, because Adam will ask Wack 100 why he didn't ask Fat Boy about the rumors that Fat Boy baby mama had put out there that Fat Boy had dick implants. Now, Wack 100 was on the Academics podcast with Fat Boy and Troy Ave, so Adam expected Wack 100 to ask that question. But when Adam asked Wack why he didn't ask that question, Zoe Osama would chime in, essentially saying, do we have to keep on talking about dicks?
Did you have a good time on there?
No, it was cool. I mean, I winged it.
Yeah.
I called in Troy Ave last minute. I called in Fat Boy. He called me. I said, where you at? Pull up.
I was a little let down.
What?
You didn't ask Fat Boy about the dick implant.
I didn't know nothing about that. I don't ask niggas about their joints.
Well, his girl just said that he got a dick implant.
Okay, well,
that's what I want to know
We'll
about.
bring him here and
Hey,
you
y'all
can
about
ask
to keep talking about dicks and shit, gang? What's going on?
Yeah, well, if they're in the news, for sure.
That's our gang. Hey, I'm about to slide, gang.
Yeah, we got to kill the...
Oh, it was good seeing you.
No, we ain't doing that.
Zoe Osama is threatening Adam to leave a podcast that Adam didn't want him on in the first place. So Adam, all right, see you. It was hilarious, bro. Now, Wack 100 tried to step in, man, but Adam had to let Zoe Osama know that this is his show, and this is what they do on this show.
Don't let
I
us
still got
talk
more
about
questions.
Come on, Adam, gang.
What? What were we supposed to talk about?
No, we don't want to talk. We've talking Fat Boy about when he gets here. Because I didn't even know nothing about that. I
Right.
just knew about the fight. That's it.
Right.
I didn't know nothing about that. But you know, you be knowing more news than me.
Right. I'm just like kind of taken aback by your attitude right here. Do you want to be here or not?
because he really from the
My
streets.
attitude.
Yeah.
No, he.
I just like you're a guest on the podcast. You're supposed to try to have fun, have a good conversation.
I mean, y'all talking about dicks. Well,
What's
you
wrong with
talking
that?
about dicks.
What's wrong with that?
Tell him he
The
from
fuck
the
out of like,
streets.
what's up with
Adam, he
on?
really
We
from
talk
the
about
streets.
stuff that's in the news and shit.
Yeah, but he's really Adam. Listen, some of these dudes,
Right.
some of these people, like he really from where he from, and like certain shit, right? they don't adjust to or never adjust to.
Right.
So what I really want to talk about and build with him is how he got started. Because I'm going to be real, I just out of nowhere just heard your name.
That exact exchange happened a couple times during this podcast where Adam is trying to shoot the ish, discuss some topics that's currently trending, and Whack 100 will be trying to give Zoe Sama shine and conduct an interview. Whack 100 would just randomly shout out, "Oh man, you're doing some good things, Nev. I see your numbers is amazing, Nev."
On your wrist.
I don't know. I know it helped. I was cool.
I got to Google that.
So I definitely listened. So radio, sample clearances.
While Adam is trying to do a podcast, Wack is trying to do an interview. And at some point, bro, Adam just outright told Wack, "Hey, listen, bro, like, you're ruining the podcast quality this week by trying to conduct an interview, all right? Like, things should just flow naturally. And once he shows his personality by engaging into the conversation, then the audience will F with Zoe Sama more. But this route y'all are taking is not going to get anybody to check out his music."
Have you ever thought that maybe you have like a pathological dedication to just bringing up race in every conversation?
No, this is facts. Am I saying something that's wrong?
I mean, I would say yeah.
Hey, yo, I salute you for allowing the culture to come up here and utilize your platform that you built, but you got to honor the fact that the culture was part of your build, a big part.
I don't know how you got to this point in the conversation. Like, what did I say that makes you feel like I don't?
I mean, because you was saying like, you know, because I'm offering Zoe my services and they help him out, it was like, I'm supposed to do that. He doesn't know everything that I do.
I guess to me, it just seems like kind of a weird use of our time on the podcast to have sort of like rudimentary label conversations.
Why? This is a up and coming artist.
If I were him, I wouldn't want that.
It's a up. What you mean? What
If
you
I
wanna
were
talk
him, I
about?
would want to have like a fun, interesting conversation, not like basic business advice.
Well, listen, he's a rapper that's independent, that people in New York or people in Dallas may not know who he is. He's from the West Coast.
I know, and if you want those people to check out his music, I would say that they'd probably be more likely to do that if he was having like an energetic, fun conversation and not just like you telling him like music
Well,
industry
he's
101.
Zoe Sama is a friend of the show. He's a friend of No Jumper. He has a video on No Jumper. But I believe there's only so many ways Adam could let him know that he didn't want him on the podcast in this particular situation. Maybe on another time when circumstances were different, they could have a real interview. But for this particular podcast, Adam was saying it in so many ways, bruh. I don't want you on this podcast, bruh. It's ruining the quality of the podcast because we're not here for an interview. Eventually, Zoe Osama got the message and just up and left.
That's what we would do here. We just kind of we would go back and forth, have the actual conversation. Appreciate you, G.
Yo, I don't think.
After the podcast got released, then people seen exactly what took place in the tense moments between Adam and Zoe Osama. Zoe Osama dropped a song called F No Jumper. Now, he did it in a cheeky manner, so I don't believe it's any real beef, but honestly, this situation could have been avoided if communication took place, but the first hour, I believe, was unbearable because it was just cringe and awkward, man. But if you're still watching, let me know in the comment section what do you guys think, and click on this video here to find out how T.I.'s arguing with his son King at the Atlanta Falcons game. Find out how their explosive conversation turned physical. Click on this video here to find out what I'm talking about. Out of here, folks. Peace.